them. This is Miss Linda Forrester, the third husband of Evelyn Rothschild, with 25 years between them in age. Yeah, and all of the companies they're having to bail out of and give them to minor lackeys to run now because of the pressure that they're under from this living room. Okay, let me turn that music off, it's a bit corny. Right, so he is the advisor to Queen Elizabeth II. I'm just in the position of uploading my videos on the Chancellor, that is George Osborne, that is on the take. Almost every one of the companies that I'll profile today are either charitable scams, so they turn education into a charity for profit for the elite schools all across the world, or they are shareholding scams, like George Osborne is guilty for. He gets his pocket money, yeah, £7,000 a shot from his parents by issuing shares into the FTSE 100 as the Chancellor of our country, and these are the folk that make all the decisions for the Queen and in the back room in this illicit sector. Let me quickly run through you what's in store. I think it's going to take at least 2 episodes to tell this story, because it's the story of corrupted America, corrupted Blackstone and all of the organisations across there. There's one of them. She used to work as a law attorney. Yeah, that's Miss Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. She worked for Simpson, Thatcher and Bartlett, and their real name allegedly is actually Barnum, the circus. And all of the financial services is just like a circus. Yeah, and all of it is engaged in out of those massive buildings. That is the new money scams, that nothing in democracy is honest. And that is global now. So there's the Salomon brothers that launched Alex Salomon, yeah, in the banker in Britain, into the world of politics to cover their real estate mortgage frauds and all of their check kiting crimes. Yeah, right in the 1990s, when Alex Salmon was launched into Scottish politics. Yeah, I'm looking closely at his gene pool. He is from the Central Belt in Scotland. Yeah, and he's linked to the Millens and the Orcafat people, and I will suss him out soon. Okay, this is just his deployment as a cover for the crashing, the systematic crashing of all financial services, and that is the Berkshire Hathaway man that is about 4th on the rich list. Yeah, and that is the Berkshire and Hertfordshire epicenters for the fraud that take us into Rothschild and Butlins. Okay, there's the Blackstone logo, and for ages I've been besotted with Baroness Blackstone in Greenwich University, because twice she refused me a job there. She is just a cover for this massive financial services organisation and set of organisations. Yet they claim to be charitable too. They're heavily involved in war criminality and everything that happens in the financial services, Fannie Mae stuff and all of that. They were run by the Rothschilds in earlier days, the Lehman Brothers, and all of it is that ancestral legacy that has come out of Frankfurt and now is in ruling the whole globe with the help of the monarchy under inbreeding. So that is Baroness Blackstone, who's interviewed me twice. She's the boss at Kent University, she's the boss at Greenwich, and that's the Greenwich Mean Time. That is the need to change the time system, because Greenwich is on the line to the name of the beautiful female singer that says "I'm not being torn" is Natalie Imbruglia. And I can't remember what the link is to Greenwich and her place of birth. I think it's the mean time through Greenwich, and they have to change that all of the time so that they can be accurate in their political decision making. Yeah, and here is Gary Lineker. So there's a 30 club in London run by the people that we're going to expose as the Harrises. There is a Harris Foundation, there is a Harris Federation, and all of it is the Aryan master race, the Harris joke, for Rolf Harris, for the Three Legs, for the Mummers, for the Rotary Club, and this is something that was for fascists and is promoting advertising. Yeah, and you should see the brands that use that. Obviously Lineker gets his money from that, and his marriage to his wife has broken up because they know that I'm going to break this apart and show that he is a fascist. The premises for the 30 Club after the fascist profiteering war had to be destroyed in case anyone found out the links of those corporations, yeah, to Hitler's banks and to the fascist organisations that run our world still. Yeah, and they are in the 30 Club with him. Yeah, that's the current heirs to the throne. Yeah, quite sadly, Prince Andrew is in the directorates, yeah, that I'm going to profile, and they are the royal team that brought down the Twin Towers, Princess Fergie, and they're linked to all sorts of sportsmen like her, even the woman that was the pentathlete from my hometown in Kelso. I'll show you her picture later on. You'll never have seen her before unless you're a Kelsonian. Yeah, she's now on the Olympics frauds, yeah, making money out of the Paralympic Games and everything that we used to do only as an amateur. That was the only way you could compete in those competitions. Okay, so there's Salmon. You see the Salomon brothers are launched into the frauds, yeah, as a replacement for Rothschild and the other banking houses that they were called when they went to America in the first place. Okay, and he makes jokes about the Scottish comedians that are linked to the names on the boardrooms that I'm going to show you. Yeah, that's the Jolie character in Scottish comedy. Okay, let's just keep going, and then quickly I'll get you into hard facts. There's loads of them. That is Lord Harris of Peckham, who runs the Harris Foundation, who runs all sorts of schools as charities. Yeah, and he's on the Forbes rich list, somewhere about 280 million. Minor character, but he is the one that brings together all of those people in some of the biggest directorates that I've ever seen, and all of them spring out of the people that have either been loyal to that woman, Forrester de Rothschild, or the ones that are most sensational have decided to leave her. And when you see what almost all of them are socialists, you can see why she got them off her boards as quickly as she possibly could. I've got all their director numbers. Yeah, and all of their pictures will be shown in the course of time. So that man that you've just seen, Harris of London and the Federation in London, is the boss at Arsenal Football Club, where Arsenal is the joke about the Pharaoh bloodline that leads right up to Hitler Rothschild, that leads right up to Queen Elizabeth II, that leads right up to George de Buisson, yeah, the Bush lineage, and all of the stuff that I've told you about all of those world leaders and presidents. All of them are from the same families, the same bloodlines, yeah, and they spark out of either Longshanks's loins or King Henry II's loins. Yeah, and all of them have no way of accounting for themselves now, because the whole world is beginning to understand that. And the Pierce woman that is the mother of George W. Bush is actually a Percy. That's the Dukes of Northumberland and the Poison Garden. Okay, let's keep going. Not many financial services frauds yet. This is what you're going to see about Butlins. They know that Jesus never lived. That's why the donkey is neighing in every one of their old adverts. They dare not do it now. Yeah. Okay, that's the wild ass for Investec, and the zebra for the Rothschild car is Jesus, the donkey in the Bible, written by the Pisos. Yeah, and okay, so that's why they're into holiday camps. And this is Hemel Hempstead. Remember, Gott in Himmel means God in heaven. That could not be further from the truth. This is their joke, that they are the Aryan Harrises of Hemel, and this is our ski slope. Yeah, with all the educational things that we've built for you around here, built by corrupted Canadian Prime Ministers called Bonar Law. Yeah, and all of it is our massive joke that we own the whole world and all of its issuance of money, and you're not getting any of it. Yeah, under any circumstances, even if you're a loyal servant of the Butlins and Born Leisure pleasure companies that built this. Yeah, but like I was on the River Tweed, where they own the most elite beats in the world. Yeah, with the Hardys of Alnwick. Right next door on the junction pool. And it may be a coincidence, but by my best man's name, the one who got hit by lightning twice, is on the Butlins boards. Yeah, the Born Leisure boards. Yeah, and it is absolutely sickening. You may sue me for that, Gav Brown. Right then, Prince Andrew. Yeah, this is the Outward Bound Trust, which is the joke about those elite families leaving Europe, yeah, on the Mayflower and sailing to America. Yeah, do you get it? The Outward Bound Club. Yeah, and there's Fergie, who had our office on the 111th floor of the Twin Towers, and he was head of the World Trade Delegation for 10 years, either before or after that happened. I can never remember which way round it is. And now they're begging for their family to be allowed back into the money stream that is the diplomatic role of these mass murderers. Yeah, for generation after generation. Their cousin, who lives in Buckinghamshire, right under Heathrow Airport, is one of the close relatives of the murdered Tsars of Russia. Yeah, that's Prince Michael of Kent. Yeah, it's just amazing, and he's on the Tsar bloodline, and the Tsar Romanovs Rothschilds. Yeah, it was a body double in the pub last night, speaking in a broad Lancashire accent to remind me that all of these are just actors planted into their roles in this team to steal from the world, but they are registered with their businesses now. Their businesses are tiny. The only sinister bit is that Romanovs and his son's businesses still issue shares. That's a huge menace, like many of the New World Order banks do, and you'll see those in a minute. Okay, so there's the River Tweed. That's my old boss, Ronnie McElrath. There's a little heart murmur recently moved into my street estate, yeah, funded by Harris of Butlins, yeah, who had 200 plus companies, and I've now chased him down to 10. Yeah, and he's an opera magnate. Yeah, and they come to and fro to the Tweed Valley on a helicopter. Yeah, and they have Pendley aircraft manufacturing companies, so that helicopter comes relatively cheap for the owners of the company. 200 of them in the old days. Okay, and let's keep going. And the Fleming women, that is the wives of the McElraths, who are the Gillies there. Yeah, that's the best job I ever had in my life, because I was able to meet all of these people. I met the daughter of the man from Butlins, who is Peter Harris, and sadly the daughter's former husband, who is a legendary jockey called it's a river, and I believe it is the Flodden Burn. His name was Swinburne. He died earlier this week. Yeah, in his early 50s. Yeah, and he's had several near-death comas on the racecourse. None of it surprises me. Yet their whole life is a lie dedicated to laughing at Jesus who never lived, and the Piso family greatness. Yeah, and everything that Rothschild represents in the great conflicts that kill all of our war dead. And they get the rewards of owning the whole of our country for that, and the local people are just slaves to them. He, though, smokes Winston Churchill's cigars just to show him that he's not yet learned his lesson. Yeah, that's Churchill in the Peasel Jesus joke. Okay, right then. And here's the bunny girls from the house that they own now. The Harrises own. Yeah, it's been owned by all sorts of people, like the cricket magnates. That is Jonathan, I forget his name, the South African cricketer. And it was owned by Victor Lowndes, the man who was the Bunny Girls man, and he is the friend of Busby and the murderous people in America that launched the Busby Babes and the Manchester United fraud. And that's why maybe the Romanov lookalike last night was watching Man United on the telly. Yeah, and on and on and on it goes. Okay, so here is, so the Stocks is the house that Harris of Butlins now owns. Yeah, he is neighbours of Rothschilds, right next to all of those massive mansions, including the ones where they have Jesus' holy relics as exhibits. Yeah, do you get the bunny girls now? And they've got companies called the Coney Lodges and the Coney Mansions. Yeah, and all of it is coming out. It's obvious to the whole world. And even John Paul Getty lived in Naples in the ancient days, and his house was called the Villa Papyri. Yeah, can you see Getty images on that? They may sue me for this ancient lethal fraud that they have perpetrated. That's Getty of the Forbes Rich List too. Okay, there is Dame Helen Alexander. She is still on the Economist boards, and she is just the fucking secretary. She is the Vice Chancellor at Southampton University, and that has sparked a massive scandal because she's the first woman. She is a massive fraudster on the boards at Rolls-Royce and all the Economist scams that crashed the banks in 2008. And my friend Sivan wants to get revenge for her for some bizarre reason. She's a relatively minor player, believe it or not, and she had 32 companies. She's only got 2 now, or 3. Yeah, all of them are in panic because what God is allowing me to do. Yeah, I don't know why I have not been taken down already, but it is absolutely sickening what they have done to the whole of the globe. Yeah. So, and there's one of the most sinister characters. I believe in the early days he may have been picked to be a likeness to not Elvis Presley but Roy Orbison. Do you see the likeness there? When he gets old you do not see that at all. Okay, and he is the man, Peter G. Petterson, that runs that Blackstone company. It is a massive fraud. Yeah, and I had never heard of it until earlier this year, and when I did learn about it, it makes everything roll into line and everything becomes logical and rational. Yeah, these lot are part of the story. None of them ever get prosecuted. Okay, that's McKillop, that is Fred Goodwin, that one is that's just Fred Goodwin and McKillop. Oh, and that's Sutherland. Yeah, all of them become heads of the UN after one of them becomes a saint. That's him. Yeah, St McKillop in Australia. And all of that is talked about by the Roman Catholic Church right through the regime. Yeah, where all of the people that tried to section me are sitting in the congregation. Yeah. And they have their Spinoni dogs from Kelso, in Kelso, which are the Piso family's icon for the dogs in Italy. Yeah, and the dogs on the Mayflower are the Springer Spaniels and the Bulldog. I forget what you call it. Gordon Bowden's got one. Okay, do you get it? None of them get prosecuted. Okay, and he is interlocked to my sister's husband, and there's a John Cook on the Butlins boards too, not the same. Yeah, all of them expect me to make a fuss about the trivia now. These are massive crimes. Yeah, they are still the people that are on the board of this are the people that have bailed out of Lynn, De Forester, the Rothschilds boardrooms. yeah, all of them paid to be treasonous, yeah, to give up their socialist job or their union leadership job, and to sell the whole of their membership and the whole of the citizenship into poverty, like the head of Scottish Labour, who is David Cameron's 8th cousin. Yeah, that's the woman that is in the news every night now. This is the new money man. He's 85. Simon Mainwaring Robertson. This is the Captain Mannering joke in Dad's Army. And Captain Mannering, every episode of the old thing, on the uniform, all of Dad's Army had the letters CP for Calpurnius Piso on their left shoulder. It is just not funny. Okay, so this is Mainwaring Robertson from the HSBC, and John Patterson nearly choked when I told him how much money they have in Canary Wharf at the HSBC in their funds. Yet way over trillions of pounds, but the profits are diminishing, like every Ponzi scheme and every pyramid selling scheme in the world, and none of them have anywhere to go, because the police will not prosecute them, but they cannot stop what they do best. Yeah, 85 now, crusty old bastard. Yeah, and sorry if I got confused between him and John Robertson Wright, who lives in my hometown, right next to Thompson's Monument, like my treasonous wife. Ex-wife, sorry. I need to be accurate in legal terms. Okay, and that is what it's now become. A massive theft project right across the world, and when they issue shares in any of their corporate scams, that is the beginning of the end. Yeah, it is totally unregulated. That's what happened to Rangers football clubs. Hearts got off better than that. They did not issue shares then. Yeah, I don't think. And the murder of the Tsars is just a superficial cover-up, planned by Lenin, trained by the Rothschilds in London. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, and then they're replaced by Stalin, who is a Rothschild, yeah, and is the communist menace again that killed the Tsars originally, yeah, but he is in the Rothschild bloodlines. Yeah, and I believe that Nicola Sturgeon is the same, and it takes a lot of uncovering of that, because there is no safety for anyone who's prepared to take it on. Okay, so let me take you to the tabs now and show you what I'm going to work through. I think I'll just launch into the American frauds. Okay, so that's Evelyn de Rothschild, and there's the statement that in October 2000, from the Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association pension funds, the mortgages were paid on those buildings. Yeah, those are the World Trade buildings, and Prince Andrew, who's in that outward bound interlocks, he was the boss. Yeah, he was in town with Fergie that day, and all of it is a stitch up. All of it has been profiled in the Matrix 5 crimes, yeah, that were published by Field McConnell and Abel Danger. Nothing ever happens, yeah, to bring them to justice. Yeah, and we're not allowed to smack the babies now. And my bad behaviour is still undefined by the divorce team. Blackstone acquired, yeah, this is the magnitude of what I'm telling you about. Yeah, and the covers in Greenwich by those leaders of people that are the British thieves. Yeah, for the 7th World Trade Center building. Okay, and let me just show you the Wikipedia profile for the Rothschilds that we're going to profile. So when people bail out of there, it becomes more embarrassing, yeah, and you can tell that they've had to cull them or trim them off the boardroom because it's too embarrassing to keep them there. Yeah, and I've got on that next tab for, so Linda Forrester is his third wife. Both of them have been married 3 times. Yeah, she's 25 years younger than him. And her interlocks to the companies, the only one that she's got open now, I think, is The Economist magazine. Yeah, and it's one of the oldest in Evelyn de Rothschild's portfolios. It's nearly 100 years old now. Okay, and there he was born. This one was born in 1931. His uncle Evelyn de Rothschild was born in 1886. He went to Harrow, he went to Trinity College, and he's married Janet Bishop, then Victoria Lou Schott, both divorced, and he's now with Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, the beautiful blonde. Okay, they've had children with Schott, Jessica de Rothschild, Peter de Rothschild, with Auntie James de Rothschild, and Auntie James, David Mayer de Rothschild, and they've had stepchildren with the Steens, and that is Benjamin Forrester Steen and John Forrester Steen, both male. Yeah, yeah, and he's pictured below. He's a kind of light-hearted looking guy, but an amazingly obscene wig. Okay. Sir Evelyn Robert Adrian de Rothschild, 1931, yeah, son of Anton Gustav de Rothschild, was named after his uncle, who we've just told you about. Born in great wealth, Evelyn de Rothschild became England's most eligible bachelor, spending his years travelling, socialising, driving exotic sports cars, enjoying thoroughbred horse racing, and playing polo all over the world. Yeah, it's okay for some, isn't it? And he's the director of Paris-based de Rothschild Frères, first job with the company. Took over as chairman from Victor in 1982, became chairman of Rothschild's Continuation Holdings, coordinating company for a merchant banking group, co-chair of Rothschild Bank AG Zurich in 1994, serving until 2003, yeah, when he oversaw the family's French and UK houses. Okay, in 2003 he founded with his wife Lynn Forrester de Rothschild holding company E.L. Rothschild to manage their investments in The Economist in various enterprises in India, the empire upon which. Okay, 2003, they're still founding new things. Yeah, they're now on the slide, and they pass it on to lackeys from all over the world. That the Romanovs are dealing with Pakistanis now. Okay. He's chairman of The Economist, Milton Keynes Development Corporation, De Beers Consolidated Mines. It's okay if you're born into the right line, eh? IBM, United Kingdom Holdings Limited, that's the computing issues for Bill Gates that allows Bill Gates to take the limelight as the world's richest man. Yeah, total lies. Yeah, and they're director of newspaper group owned by Beaverbrook. Years later he served for a time as director of Lord Black's Daily Telegraph. Yeah, that's Lord Conrad Black of Palestine and Canada, who's been prosecuted and jailed. He's a thoroughbred racehorse owner, Evelyn is, yeah, and he is knighted by Queen Elizabeth in 1989, has been a governor of the London School of Economics and Political Sciences, and his babies are born at St Mary's Hospital at the Lindell Wing, where the Queen has her babies, and I used to work, and where I met the Duke of Roxburgh on the doorstep, and he refused to talk to me because he thought I was an investigative press man, and I know all about everything that he has a laugh at, that has that massive estate that he has cast me from. Yeah, and his middle name is Ineos, which is the same as the man who I'm going to profile bailing out of Lynn Forrester's companies. That is Sir Ian Wood, yeah, of BP. I thought it was John Wood up to this week, and I'm sure they have changed it because everything I've published on John Wood will now be less easy to find. So Ian Wood is the boss at Ineos and BP, yeah, under the Queen's thrall. Okay, and Lord Patton's thrall as well. Okay, so we're not going to get very far if we go this far down every tab. So he's on his third wife now. She's beautiful, yeah, there she is. They're Bilderbergers, both of them, and they've got massive mansions, and they're sharing a joke with Donald at the Bilderberg meeting in Turnberry Golf Course, which is Donald's. Do you get it? All of them are destined to be world leaders because they're all from the same family. Okay, let's go to the top. Oh, we'll see the guy with the wig. Okay, so there's the pictures that I show you nearly every day. So this is the advisor to the Queen and his wife. Yeah, and she's just like that Selina, the Rothschild woman, and all of them are dangerously close to their cousins, and that's Bill Clinton, who is the Queen's brother. Yeah, by Winston Churchill, the Churchill Jesus joke again. Okay, she was born in Bergen County, New Jersey, and you listen to the Dimblebys talking about Belsen-Bergen in World War II, and you see the pictures of the starving children, just like you see in Africa this year. Yeah, all of it is so those charities that they run can steal from the world's innocent and ordinary people using false news as their only legitimate tool. Yeah, and the people that get prosecuted for that, if they really get prosecuted. So she went to the Apple College and Columbia Law School. Her occupation was the CEO of her own company, and she was making a 9-figure salary and bragged about that. All of our spouses are in the biblical frauds, yeah, and in the world owning and murderous bloodlines. So she's got a Pi Platt, Andrew Stein, yeah, the guy with the wig, and Sir Evelyn Rothschild, and both the babies were males. Okay, children Benjamin Forrester Steen and John Forrester Steen. E.L. Rothschild, a holding company she owns with her third husband, Sir Evelyn. Yeah, and do you get the L and the release of all of the fashion models, yeah, just to take the heat off them in their massive geopolitical manipulation and political planting of all of the world leaders into office. Yeah, born in Bergen County, and that's Belsen-Bergen. Bilfinger-Bergen is the name of the company that built the Parliament in Scotland for Miss Sturgeon. Okay, and her maiden name is Hewitt. Yeah, and that is the murders of Princess Diana, the lovers of Princess Diana, and the Hewitts that are the likeness to Prince Harry, who's got more girlfriends than almost anyone on the globe, since I began to report all of them and rationalise the reason why they are launched as a cover-up. Okay, so her name, that she is the daughter of Annabel née Hewitt and John Kenneth Forrester. Okay, and there is Hewitt, and the likeness to Harry, and no likeness to Prince Charles. Yeah, and poor Princess Anne, who's on that Outward Bound trust, is now only 12th in line as claimant to the throne, since they changed in the male Masons world the laws of succession in 2012 and made it possible to arrest people in psychiatry when they were no menace to the public. Yet their reputation gets weaker and weaker with everything they do, and everything they have done means that they have very few companies left in their own name, but I see through that as well. She also studied international law at the Graduate Institute of International Studies in Geneva, Switzerland, where all of the rest of them are at La Rosie School right next door, with Bin Laden. Yeah, and there's she's a campaigner on behalf of Daniel Patrick Moynihan, and that is a Democrat. Okay, and there's the companies that she trained with that we've just seen. Yeah, you get Mrs. Simpson and the Thatcher covers. Yeah, and the Bartletts are the people in the Great Escape movie that are on the boards of the companies that I'm going to show you later on, and that's got the word wow in front of it, and I'll take you there next because this is taking too long. Okay, she launched a massive broadband wireless company, securing licenses in Germany, France, Spain, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Finland. She built a 20,000 kilometre fibre network in 15 countries. sold in 2000 for only 1 billion. Yeah. Rothschild currently serves on the boards of Estee Lauder Companies, the Economist Group, Bronfman E.L. Rothschild LP, and Christie's International, the sales house for the art treasures and the fine watches, I think. She has also served on the boards of directors of Gulfstream Aerospace, it's Real Estate Corporation, and General Instruments Inc. More to uncover. Okay, I think I've given you the picture. Yeah, international real estate. And there's the auction houses, and all of them own Sotheby's, and all of them have buying teams and selling teams, and if they don't get the price they want, they keep raising the price, and that one of their own people buy it, and they get pay bonuses for that because the value of the stock rises. Cannot get sicker. Okay, and I've just sussed that the links to Harris, and the aviators and the helicopters are the link of Mammy Nathan Rothschild, whose name is Paul, and Paul is the son of Harris of Butlins, and he comes in by helicopter, and I'm now beginning to understand every joke that they threw at us, including the one on me losing my jobs on the river. That was not the Harrises, that was Lord Sanderson of Bowden, for telling me that I must kill fish when you're not allowed to kill fish on the river for preservation reasons. Okay, so let's get on. And so they launch. She trains in Simpson and Thatcher. She is a lover of Steen. Let me show you Steen's haircut. Okay, I think this is the second husband. And he's, where is he? Coming up. And it says there that his toupee is often laughed at and mocked. But he is the decent one in the marriage if the two male children are anything to go by. Goodness knows if they're able to sleep together. The consanguinity indexes are massive through all of these lineages. Okay, there's the Blackstone scam. I'll show you. I don't think any of, so a little bit of it is highlighted. So that's the mortgage on the Twin Towers, and there's the Tunstall thing that is the Royal Observatory Greenwich Mean Time thing. It's the line between Tunstall, and that's Katie Tunstall the singer. That is the Greenwich Mean Time zero spot on our globe. Okay, and the Schwartz Pharma, so the Salomon brothers, Blackstone early doors were involved with the Salomon companies, and all the real estate frauds are massive, but I don't think I've got time to profile them. What I want to show you is that the Rothschilds are still the owners of everything. Schwartz Pharma was a black company, and so the word Blackstone was put together because one of the founders was a Schwartz, and I forget what the name for stone is, but that is how it was founded. And the Salomon brothers, let me just show you that, and their logos and things. And this was launched in the 1990s, I think, acquired by Travelers Group in 1998 when Alex Salomon was just coming in as a banking magnate. And that's the Salomon Rothschild of Austria, who launched the central bank, and who was mysteriously involved in getting the ownership of the central bank in Austria, as the Archduke and his son were killed. And the son was killed in what became Salomon Rothschild's shooting lodge. Okay, and successor was Salomon Smith Barney, and that it may be the Barnum circus jokes. Okay, and all the takeovers and acquisitions they excel in. The City Group and all of the issuance of money now is total. You notice how many different kinds of banknotes are being issued into Scotland at the moment. It's a huge binge. And all of that is what the bankers do, and none of them get investigated, because all of these people, yeah, that are in government and in regulation are picked by the Rothschilds. I want to get on to that, okay? And that's the Salmon gene, so we'll just skip it and we'll go now to Lynn de Rothschild and the Economist holdings and everything that she's got. Okay, so Linda Forrester. Okay, there she is at the top, and here are a list of the companies that she's got, and the ones that she closes are the ones that are sensational, yeah, for the manipulation and the bungs that they give. Outward Bound Global, Policy Network and Communications Limited, the Old Vic Theatre Trust 2000, Economist Newspaper Limited, the Tate Foundation, the Outward Bound Trust, the joke about going to America and becoming the presidential bloodlines and becoming all of the presidents, yeah, and all of those elite families in America and Canada and even Latin America, yeah. So she keeps the Economist newspaper open because it's been running since, it's been running for nearly 100 years now. And let me just take you first to the ones that she closes, okay? So she's got a company there called Policy Network, I think, Policy Network and Communications. So she's an internet genius, yeah, with loads of money to start with, and there is the word wow. So we'll go there and I'll show you with pictures who the people are that I need to expose. Okay, let's get rid of that and let's get this into the center and go to the top. Okay, yeah, it's quite shocking. Yeah, and just right above board, that was Michael Moore, my former political MP, who's on the fucking board. Yeah, yeah, Michael Moore, Secretary of State for Scotland, on this massive board. It includes Chris Huhne, Ed Milliband, Labour leader, Lord Mendelsohn and Mandelson, with Strauss-Kahn of the IMF, Lord Adonis, Michael Moore, the MP, Secretary of State for Scotland, Rasmussen of NATO. Yeah, that's just some of them. It is a system, and that's Ed Milliband, who's pictured on my website, shaking hands with Gordon Bowden at one of the Labour Party's meetings. Labour leader from communist Lithuania. Okay, this is registered in Wellport, or was. She bailed out in, I think it's around 2013, but let me show you who's been on the board. Okay, and I don't know if this one is allowed to issue shares. Let's check that. Without share capital, so it's relatively innocent. God bless you, Milliband, for not issuing shares like Chancellor Osborne, Mr. Andrew St Clair Hood, Mr. Roger John Liddell, yeah, the supermarket fame, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. She packed up in 2002. Yeah, don't know whether or not they knew then that I was going to come back, yeah, after my stay in New Zealand and release all of this information. Dr. Helen de Largantay, Mr. Edward Samuel Milliband. Isn't it tragic? The leader of the Labour Party, the socialist in opposition, yeah, and that is after Tony Blair's murderous fascist deeds all across the world, with George W. and all of the family relatives. Mr. Christopher Murray Paul Huhne, yeah, do you remember him on the cabinet too, in the scandal with the woman who's further down on yeah, on the list, yeah, for the Rothschild payoffs. Chris Huhne, cabinet member, forget what his role in that corrupted cabinet was with the coalition. Okay, showing results for Ed Milliband, Gordon Bowden. So there is Edward Milliband on Evelyn de Rothschild's wife's board, yeah, shaking hands with Gordon, who's an expert on revealing their financial frauds, but not so good at some of the individuals that are involved with it. Yeah, and he also shakes hands as he goes in to tell the BBC how corrupted the world is, and everybody knows that the BBC is the one of the tools that keep it corrupted. Milliband on this board. Okay, and his brother was called, he was the MP for Newcastle, and he fled the same day as Stephen Hester left the country. Yeah, and that was the same day as I posted the picture of the Lloyds banking group, Milliband, and a guillotine on the front page of my website. They both resigned. That's Hester of the Goggerburn near here. Yeah. And there is Hester of the RBS with the Centrico logo. He's on the board for Centrico. John Major was on that board. He's now dropped off. Yeah, because all of them have dozens and dozens of Ponzi shells, and if you don't want to be known as a mobster, you can easily avoid it until I come along. Okay, and there is mortgages and charges at the RBS, Centrica, and all of those mobsters that you've seen in the picture. I have not had time to put them onto the RBS subsidiaries that are listed here. Just a massive list of thieves who become NATO leaders, and that's Lord George Robertson of Dunblane and the gun licence. Yet everything they do is a massive fraud, and that's why they're picked as politicians. Yeah, and none of the predictions that they make on the stock exchange come true, so that all of them can steal again and again and again. And we're now in the sovereign debt crisis that I explained in George Osborne's pocket money video. Sorry, you've not missed that one yet. It's just going to be published really soon. Matthew Benjamin Hall, Lord Jonathan Neil Mendelsohn. This is the boards for that woman Forrester, Lynn de Forrester. Yeah, Nay Hewitt. And there is Reinhard Hess, and that's Hess of Hamilton, and the second in command to Hitler Rothschild in the war. Yet now the leaders of NHS Mental Health Scotland. Peter Mandelson, Hannah Mary Rothschild's greatest hero, with a sense of humour in the killing of 2 million Iraqis. Yeah, these are on the boards that she's buggered off. The communications company, the head of the International Monetary Fund, gets her bungs too. Dominic Strauss-Kahn. No picture of him because he's a felon. Oh, here he is. When he was convicted of rape, not grand larceny, yeah, in a Paris hotel, so in a New York hotel. There is no fault line in New York, but when he was acquitted, there was a massive earthquake. Yeah, he's been the boss at the IMF since that man from the Windy City of Chicago packed up Milton Friedman with the devil connotations in everything that they do. And Miss Lagarde now, because they know I'm going to make this accusation, was yesterday accused of stealing a few million francs from the French people, yet in a systematic knee-jerk response. Yeah, on the news last night with all the stuff about the paedophilia in football, Lord Jonathan Neil Mendelsohn. Right Honourable Mike Moore, yeah, Michael Ellis Moore with the 82 P&O shipping companies. Yeah, do you get it? That is Secretary of State for Scotland. That is the man that refused to meet me, which is why he was chucked out of the cabinet. Yeah, and John Lamont MSP has done that for an even longer period of time. Paul Wheelhouse was also in the news last night. Yeah, if any of those are your relatives, then I hope you do not get a conscience. Miss Patricia Hope Hewitt. Yeah, lovely that you can get your relatives into the swim. We can't prove sex with children does them harm. Yeah, everything, like the picking of Malky Mackay yesterday. He's a sexist and a racist, but they've picked him to be the Scotland PR manager for football since the paedophilia scandal broke. Yeah, they're really subtle, the Rothschilds are. Mr. Paul Nyrop Rasmussen, NATO boss and alcoholic crossdresser, according to Greg Hallett. Yeah, right through that massive period of time, immediately after the banks had been robbed. Yeah, and all of my communications with his bosses, that were the people that were Barroso, trained by Henry Kissinger on these boards, like the Future of Russia board. And here's the diamonds of Bob Diamonds and Barclays. Patrick Diamond was brought up and schooled in Leeds. He worked as a kibbutz volunteer and worked as a policy advisor under Labour. Yeah, all of the false socialists. He is now lecturer in public policy at Queen Mary University at London, a vice chair of the think tank Policy Network, Gwilym Gibbon, Nuffield College, Oxford, and visiting fellow of the Department of Politics at University of Oxford. Yeah, Southwark Borough Councillor for Newington. Yeah, Labour political party affiliation, Clare College, Cambridge. Okay, Lord Giles Radici. Getting on a bit. Labour member of the House of Lords. Yeah, this is the Radich and the Revolutionary Red joke that is in Air Force One. Yeah, chairman of the Treasury Select Committee for Labour. Yeah, born 1936. Yeah, maybe a little bit demented and easier to live with your conscience that way. Yeah, first stood for Parliament at Chippenham, Chesterley Street, right next to the Duke of Westminster. Cronig, Trevor Phillips, Mark Phillips, oh my goodness, Princess Anne. A rush of blood, I failed to spot it. Trinidad Jimenez, Mr. William Marshall III, Magdalena Anderson. Princess Anne gets it really rough, doesn't she? Yeah, she's not allowed to be the Queen unless there are 11 deaths before her. Yeah, Right Honourable Alan Milburn. Yeah, a cricketing name. Alan Milburn was Member of Parliament for, guess who? The Labour Party from 1992 to 2010. Served as Chief Secretary to the Treasury. What a coincidence. From 1998 to 1999. Yeah, Lynn and Evelyn Rothschild picking them and getting rid of their commitment to that company as soon as they realise that someone has the courage to expose them. Chair, Social Mobility Commission. Yeah, Secretary of State for Health from 1999 to 2003 and Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster from 2004 to 2005. So in 2003 we were just getting ready to go to war with Iraq. Yeah, with his Labour Party boss being the boss, and he's threatening to become the boss again. And there are Blairs all over the boards, but he does not use Tony on any of his director IDs. Anthony Giddens, yet another one, is a British sociologist who is known for his theory of structuring a holistic view of modern societies. Yeah, infrastructure and theorising and philosophy. Anthony Giddens. Okay, that's an innocent one compared to all the others. Heather Simpson, Charles Rodway Clark, Blair's Minister without portfolio, Iraq scandals, replaced by Baron Reid of Celtic, who interlocks with all of those people that are the Hawkeys of Ireland in the Irish Terror. Okay, so this one was preceded by David Blunkett, Secretary of State for Education and Skills, yeah, and he's Home Secretary when Blair went to Iraq. Yeah, and they get into trouble because they persecute prisoners in the BBC News because no one knows. Yeah, and he does not allow that old man to resign. Yeah, and allows him to shed the blame. This is Liam Byrne, a British Labour Party politician. Wow! Been a member of the Parliament for Birmingham Hodge Hill since 2004. The Butlins, the Harrises of Butlins and Hemel Hempstead are registered in Birmingham because it's at the end of the Icknield Way and all roads lead back to Rome. Chief Secretary of the Treasury in Gordon Brown's government. That's the man who left the note on the desk of the coalition incomers saying that we have emptied it, but that is not actually the man who did the dirty. That was the man from that was the man who was the negotiator of the coalition agreement, and he was David Laws, a massive mobster at two of the massive banks that I'm going to show you later on. Stephen Trevor Beard, yeah, Vicky Price, yeah, this is the one that was married to that cabinet member further up, yeah, and they were all through the press. They were on the front page of the papers, and Ed Balls plays the same roles on one of the tabs that I'll get to tomorrow if they let me walk home safely from the pub this evening. Lord Andrew Adonis, that means Lord Andrew Lord, yeah, in Greek, yeah, and it's all part of that massive religious joke, and he is part of that story that I told to John Patterson about every one of the world leaders and all the Chancellor's frauds, yeah, being part of the religious joke, and the Barkers, yeah, and Dame Barker and Ronnie Barker being the original publishers of the English Bible through Oxford University Press, and everything that is a lie makes them world leaders. Yeah, appointed by Prime Minister Tony Blair to be an advisor at the number 10 policy unit specialising in constitutional and educational policy, yeah, just before they launch student fees on Britons, yeah, in the coalition government that promised never ever to do it. That was Nick Clegg's statement in his manifesto. Dame Helen Wallace, this may explain the lovely Helen Wallace, the rocket scientist on my Facebook page, yeah, is saltier, yeah, the joke about the Scottish flag, is a British expert in European studies, yeah. More images for Dame Helen Sarah Wallace, yeah, and that's the Europe that has been exploded because I've exploded the government, yeah, two of them now, north and south of the border. Professor Andrew Gamble, Department of Politics and International, before that he was Professor of Politics at the University of Sheffield, and look at the letters behind his name, isn't it lovely? And he could well be a Conservative, which is a major policy change. British academic and author, since January Professor of Politics at, can't see that, okay, let's keep going. Okay, so that's the WOW tab, and I'm now going to take you to some other of the companies that she, let me take you, so if she gets rid of it, you know that they've got lots to hide. Yeah, The Economist is relatively boring for that reason, because it's the only one she's kept. Let me show you that so you can calm down a bit. Okay, so these are economists. This is John Elkin, yeah, that is the first name. Before the Rothschilds became Rothschilds, they were Elkinans. Okay, so these are the relatively innocent ones that she's allowed to keep. Okay, and there's the registration of it, and there's the fact that she's still on it. Evelyn Robert Adrian de Rothschild, that's her now trading as her husband's wife, and there's the people that she's trading with and coercing into the public believing that they are policymakers for our country on behalf of it. Nothing further than the truth. Okay, so she was appointed in 1988 and she's still on it. Right Honourable Alan Victor Hare, let's just go to the highlights in the pictures. Lord Klaus Moser, the chief statistician for our country, registered in the House of Lords with a massive surplus at the bank when our country is in sovereign debt. Yeah, a friend of Melvin Bragg, educated at Wadham College, Oxford, and he's now 99 years old. Okay, chief statistician tells the lies to the Chancellor, then makes more austerity for the public, runs the most expensive Jewish schools in the world, yeah, for artists, all of them in the red, sorry, all of them in the black, none of them in the debt pools that the governments are in that they run. Here's one of the people that is an offshoot, Dominic Cadbury, and I've profiled everything that his interlocks do later on. Okay, so that's more to come. Don't know if we've got pictures for him yet. So here is Evelyn Robert Adrian de Rothschild. Do you get it? They put the woman and the man's name in, and they've been doing that right through world history just for a piss take. And it's the same for Lord Nelson. Yeah, he's got a woman's name in his official political name, like George Osborne's name is totally different when he wants to steal from different sources. Okay, she's a beautiful woman, and there they are, yeah, with the most deviant people in the world, yeah, that are prepared to steal. Yeah, Bill had his massive quadruple heart attack when they began to play around with the global warming scam and make it a money stream. And all the energy stuff that Salmon and Trump represent is all just a Mason's joke about the windmills in fucking old Amsterdam. Okay, and this is the, I believe, the Jolie joke that Alex Salmon made, because this is one of the directors on the Rothschild's boards. Yeah, this is the Economist boards. Yeah, do you remember the Jolie comedian in Scotland? Yeah, and there's George Bain, academic. George Sayers Bain is a British-Canadian academic. He was President and Vice-Chancellor of Queen's University Belfast, Northern Ireland, from 1998, in the ending of the Troubles period when Michael Ancram was bringing down the Chinook. Yeah, part of the Official Secrets Act, that no one's allowed to talk about that, and they've got an academic called Bain, and that probably explains the murder by Bain and the massacre by Bain of his family in New Zealand at the same time. Yeah, and there is General Sir Mike Jackson, who interlocks dozens of times with Rebecca Brooks on the massive Malaria No More and the Geneva registrations. Yeah, and he is the war criminal, yeah, in the Balkans, and he is the Bloody Sunday murderer, and he is the launch of Michael Jackson, the pop singer, and the football frauds. Yeah, Michael Jackson from Jacksonville is now the boss at Al Fayed's football club. Yeah, all of it just an obfuscation and cover for the massive frauds and murders in the Balkans, yeah, that took place and got us the Peace Prize eventually, like Kissinger got it. Yeah, here's the Jawls, Anthony Boyd Jawll, retired pension property funds. Yeah, due diligence, what a joke. Okay, and that's why Alex Salmon, and that's the Pi Pearson group, and my disloyal student Hugh Pearson, yeah, and his academic friends that died in air balloon, yeah, hang glider accidents. Yeah, there is Dame Helen Alexander. This time she's working for the City University of London. She's the first female chancellor at Southampton, I think it was, and she's on massive boards. Yeah, and the woman that is 7 is after her still. I'm not sure what she did to her, but she's defrauded her as a personal individual. Educated at St Paul's Girls' School, and I now realise that it is not under St Paul's Cathedral at all. It's Hertford College, Oxford, yeah, which is the no bombing place in World War II. Do you get it now? That's St Charles's, St Paul's Girls' School, which I thought was in the heart of London, but it's in leafy Oxford. Yeah, and all the corporates that she works for, Faber and Faber, Easure Group Holdings, and let me take it across. Yeah, this is, she had 30 plus. Yeah, now she's only got 3. Yeah, I'm beginning to win. Hawaii Technology, Esure Group Holdings, Rolls-Royce Group, Incisive Media, Thomson Reuters, UBM PLC, Bain Capital, Confederation of British Industry, yeah, the union opponents, Sir Tim Berners-Lee's World Wide Web Foundation, chairman of the Port of London near Greenwich and Blackstone, yeah, authority, and that is where we had to build the massive flood barriers to frustrate the gods from making decisions on whether or not they like these policies. Okay, not many people know that Rolls-Royce are arms traders. Yeah, don't bank on the bomb. This is a story that I only learned about yesterday in highlights, and there it is. Rolls-Royce is part of a joint venture in the United Kingdom to develop successors of new class of nuclear weapons and the maintenance of existing fleet of Vanguard class nuclear armed submarines. Yeah, that's why she's getting a hard time. Yeah, and that's why all of the SNP pretend that they are down on the nuclear weapons scandal up here and they want rid of it. All of that was reported to the Scottish Justice Secretary. Yeah, 1 year before the referendum, and Kenny McCaskill had to retire the next day. And that is the McCaskills that this week have had dementia and died yesterday. It's amazing. Everything that I report to you is covered up. The whole of the news is superficial. Rolls-Royce make weapons out of Warwick, and Rolls-Royce awarded another $1 billion contract for nuclear submarines in Derby. Yeah, and that's where Gordon Bowden's MP refused to talk to Gordon about the frauds that we were reporting. Yeah, so there's what I thought was John Wood of BP. He's now Ian Wood of BP. Yeah, since I reported all of the INEOS strikes and scandals and his rebuilding of the whole of that beautiful garden in Aberdeen city centre and replacing it with a concrete roller skate park. Yeah, and that all of them do that just to make themselves to make the public unaware of what they do in the warmongering and in the massive interlocks. So a whole lot of tomorrow's talk will be on his interlocks as Peter John Wood out of the south of England. Yeah, I thought that was just a cover for him being from Aberdeen and running his trust funds up there and being a friend of my neighbours in Kelso when I called him John Wood, and they were quite able to relate to the fact that he was the boss at Robert Gordon's school. Yeah, so his name is now officially Ian Wood. Okay, and he interlocks this one from the south, who's not the one from the north and Aberdeen. He interlocks with Scotland's richest woman, Anne Goag, and with Brian Cox the actor. Yeah, on the Stagecoach Empire, and Brian Cox the actor has had 90 companies in that massive set of crimes against the travellers in Scotland. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild realised she was in the shit with this one in 2002. Okay, and oh no, this one's still live, but she's bailed out of it personally. Oh no, I thought she was still on this one. Oh, she is. So she started in 2002, but she has not resigned. She's still live on this one. So these crimes and frauds are much less, and she can bear the brunt of them and shoulder them, yeah, in the corrupted life that they lead, yeah, as advisors to the Queen, yeah, and visitors to Bill Clinton, yeah, as soon as they're wedded. This is the new money men now, really sinister. I'm going to tell you that story separately too. Sir Simon Mainwaring Robertson, yeah, that's him on London Bridge, yeah, right next to what has become the Babylonian epicentre of buildings and tower blocks. Yeah, and I believe that's St Paul's, yeah, not the girls' school though, in Oxford. Okay, and there's John Elkann. I thought he was on the rich list. Such a familiar name. He's a Formula 1 man, he's a fast cars man, he's a young man, and what we've got is that he is Brookings and Forbes Agnelli. Oh no, that's a different story. So Elkann was the Rothschilds before they became the Rothschilds on the family trees. Yeah, that is Gutel Schnapper Rothschilds. Their lineage was the Elkanns before that, and they're still on the go, and they're still curly haired and a little bit devilish, and they're fast fraudsters. Okay, here is Simon Mainwaring Robertson, and so he's tied into the Agnelli family frauds too, and that is the Haywood family and the Brexit European and McKinsey land grabs all over China, yeah, from the same family groups that are the Italian Roman influence, yeah, and the false biblical authors. Simon Mainwaring Robertson, do you get it? That's Captain Mainwaring in Dad's army, and there he is looking all stressed out. He's now 85, yeah, he's a billionaire, yeah, not mentioned at all because he's an efficient backroom guy in those Babylonian towers. This is Rupert Pennant Ray, Deputy Governor, Bank of England, compulsory credit updates. Yeah, this is the people that are on the Economists, yeah, who have been the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England. Like Theresa May was on the staff, don't know how far up the power broking scale she went. Yeah, do you get it? Every one of them is picked to be a traitor to Labour, to the unions, and that's why David Prentice, who's on the board of the Bank of England for 2 regimes back to back, and is the biggest unison leader, is the biggest union leader in our whole country. That's the public sector thing that has had all of its pay rises frozen, like the INEOS people that worked for John Wood before he became Ian. Money masters, Elkin and Forbes, yeah, the most powerful people. And I thought there was something about the Rothschild family bloodline on Wall Street Money Talks. So John Elkin is out there. The Agnelli's 51% holding in Exor is in excess of 5 billion at current prices. Oh, here it is. The Rothschild family is a wealthy family descending from Mayor Amschel Rothschild. The family who was known to use the name Rothschild was, oh quick, before it forecloses on me, was Isaac Elkinen. Yeah, in 1577. The name is derived from that, out of the Judan gas. Okay, do you get it? Forbes rich list material now. Agnelli family mobsters, and the Agnelli families are part of the Brexit scandal, yeah, and the people who make their money from Brexit. So John Elkin, and he runs Fiat cars for a laugh. That's the fiat currency financial fraud that, look, we can now issue as many banknotes as we want. There is no accountability for it, but in Scotland, because they've got an investigator up here who stings us, yeah, we're going to have to issue tax claims against all of the people of Scotland, yeah, because we need to suppress them even more. We could be the world's most popular people if we were to release funding for every government, every local council, yeah, but instead we opt for the persecution, yeah, and we do it to our armies at great risk. Pearson again, a New York lawyer, Philip Joseph Hoffman on the board, yeah, working for Pearson's, the organisation in Hudson Street, New York. Philip Joseph Hoffman on the directors for Lynn de Rothschild, and this is the one that is the Haywood, and Sebastian Shakespeare, yeah, the cover, using Shakespeare or Stratford-on-Avon as the place where the article is written. So this one writes for the Daily Mail, yeah, and there is Lady Susan Elizabeth Haywood and her husband, who's a profiteer from the European Union scams. Okay, Lady Haywood has joined rich business dynasty Italy's Agnelli family. High-flying Susan, 47, left her job as a partner at McKinsey & Co., another one of those massive American land-grabbing institutions, and Nancy McKinstry runs another one. Yeah, all of it is tier after tier of cover. She became managing director at Exor, the 5.8 billion investment company. Pro-EU puppet master Sir Jeremy Haywood can count on his wife's support as he pulls strings for Britain to stay in Europe. Do you see it? Everything is a cover for the horrible truth that we could have democracy and prosperity and honesty and loving our neighbours globally without telling lies within 2 weeks. Hannah Mary Rothschild and Jacob Nathan and Mr. Harris of Butlins, if you were to get that conscience rather than those repetitive heart attacks that God gives everybody to show them that they are on the wrong line. Yeah, and all of the inbreeding is explained by all of the failure to have babies. The Right Honourable Tessa Jane Helen Douglas Jowell. Yeah, this is the less sensational people that are still allowed to be on the Economist boards. Yeah, and that one's still on the boards, despite the fact that we're thrown out of Europe now. Brent Schwarzhoven and Karp's Tessa Jowell, yeah, Baroness Jowell, is an English Labour Party again, who was Member of Parliament for Dulwich and West Norwood from 1992. That's right next door to Greenwich. Yeah, and the Blackstone frauds in Greenwich University. She held a number of major government oppositions as well as opposition appointments during this period. Her most senior position in government was as Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, a post she held from 2001 to 2007. Yeah, after we had brutalised Iraq, Lebanon, Libya and Afghanistan, and we were just about to crash the banks for the mobsters that are listed further down, who never get prosecuted. A Privy Councillor since 1998, she was appointed Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2012. She stood down from the House of Commons at the age of the 2015 general election, so she's retired with a clean conscience on the Rothschilds boards as a fucking Labour Party representative. Okay, and Lady Haywood has joined okay, so that's the Haywood pro-EU. So where do we go now? Okay, let me take you to the Out of Bound Trust. So Outward Bound is an overt joke about the people that leave Britain, yeah, out of the and the company is registered in Cumbria, yeah, where all of the people line up to go out and to become the Pilgrim Fathers and to become the George W. Bush lineage and the FDR lineage, and every one of the presidential, including Rothschild that were Washington and were allegedly murdered, like the Tsars, who are still Rothschilds on the business register and have to trade out of fucking Pakistan now because they're onto what they do. Okay, so Linda Forrester, Economist. So here's okay, so that's just the headlines that I've just shown you, so we'll skip that. Here's the Outward Bound Global, and there are all sorts of familiar names on it. Outward Bound, so it's registered in Penrith in Cumbria, right next to where Longshanks died, yeah, before they started heading west, which is the Outward Bound joke. Right then. And here we've got, we'll just go to the pictures. So Prince Andrew's on it. Yeah, the man who was the head of the trade delegation was in the town with Fergie when they brought down the Twin Towers, with her office on the 111th floor and her little red doll surviving the incident totally intact. Directors and secretaries. Lagos the Rabbit is the first one. Yeah, for every Mason across the world. Yeah, for Winston the Churchill joke. Jimmy Savile is on it. Yeah, and that is the cover for the woman Savile, who is the advisor at the Mint and used to be a dinner lady. Yeah, he's there all the time, but it's not identifiable as him. Okay, let's just go to the pictures. Neville Howards, yeah, the Howards of Norfolk, Masters of the Horse, friends of Tommy Moore, yeah, Thomas Moore, who was beheaded for his religious beliefs. There is the one who is the Englishman, not the Scottish BP magnate. Yeah, changed his name to, what did I say? Not John Wood, it is now, oh, I've forgotten. Okay, Edward Anthony Richard Lewis Windsor. Just to let us know that we are in that bloodline that fled west, yeah, Go west, young man, to the YMCA, the Christian joke.